And also with us is Diane O'Connell, who is a journalist and co-author of Divorced Dads, Shattering the Myth. Diane, for older kids, should you reveal more? I mean, tell them more about the problems?
Actually, really, no. Kids don't really need to know that much. And if you start revealing the problems, then you get into the situation of blame. And you really don't want to do that. I believe that really as little as possible. And I also want to add, timing is really important, and you want to really make sure that you really are going to split up.
Aha,
and
so no false alarms.
Yeah, you don't want to do that because then you've shattered their sense of security.
Who the kids ally themselves with.
Well, I think that very often the kids will ally themselves with who they're going to be living with, and in most cases that's the mother.
Now, Diane, you said that even though divorcing spouses, they might want to split amicably, the lawyers, those pesky little things, get in there sometimes and make it really ugly. And you recommend divorce mediation.
Absolutely. Well, the problem with divorce litigation is when you get into attorneys want to win. So it's all about winning, and there's no focus there on what's best for the child. With divorce mediation, a mediator who's typically from a social services agency or a psychologist, sometimes an attorney who is trained as a mediator, gets the parents together and they sit down and they talk about it. And they talk about what's best for the child. And usually the outcome is not a I win, you lose, but a win somewhat situation, where each party gets most of what they want, making some concessions.
It's also cheaper, is it not?
Absolutely. As soon as you get into the courts, that's where the costs keep mounting up.
Nobody wins when it becomes a fight.
I can answer that. Diane?
Well, I can answer. Sole custody is where one parent has the residential custody of the child and also makes all of the decisions regarding the child's upbringing. Joint legal custody means that the child primarily resides with one parent, gets visitation with the other parent, but that both parents share equally in the decisions regarding the child's upbringing, decisions such as religious decisions, education, medical, things like that, the big issues.
The key thing is that the parents be happy with it and they not fight about it, because that's the part that really
Exactly, and that's what we
can
found
agree to
in our study in the book, was that the kids did much better with joint legal custody when both parents were involved. And I want to add to, what you made a very interesting point about, it doesn't really matter whether it's 3 days with one parent, 4 days with the other. We don't want to turn parents into accountants.
This brings up your book, Shattering the Myths, Divorced Dads.
Yes.
What is that about? If you could, in a minute and a half, tell me.
A minute and a half. We have a very negative attitude toward divorced dads in this country. And most of that is due to faulty research, the media, and outdated attitudes. And what we found through 8 years of federally funded research is that most of those negative images are simply not true, the result of misread data, out-of-date data, and just faulty research in general. Those myths include that divorced dads are deadbeats, which they are not. They pay child support in admirable numbers. The myth that fathers don't visit their kids, that's not true at all. They do visit their kids, and only when they are blocked by the mother does the visitation peter off. The myth that divorced fathers make out better in divorce settlements, which is absolutely not true. In our study, we found that mothers, on whole, were much more satisfied with the divorce settlement, primarily because they get custody. And they agree that the divorce system favors mothers over fathers.